So, in this session, let us discuss about deriving an expression for radius and velocity of electron rotating in a particular orbit. So last class we were discussing about Bohr's postulates, where we have discussed that all these electrons are rotating around this nucleus, central core nucleus, which is basically a positively charged core, and these electrons are rotating in particular orbits. Okay, so this is orbit 1. You can say n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2. In the nth orbit, the electron cannot move anywhere in between. It has to move only in the particular orbits. And we also came to know that this angular momentum is constant in that particular orbit. Okay, and that is given by nh by 2 pi. So let us just quickly recap all these values which we'll be using for derivation. Now this h here is called Planck's constant. It is called Planck constant. From where it has come means energy is equal to E into h nu. Energy is equal to h into nu. Okay. This Planck constant value, see, this is in joules. This is frequency. So take this frequency other side, it becomes 1 by frequency, which is time. So this h has a unit of joule second. It is 6.62 into 10 to the power minus 34. And you will be getting mass of electron. Mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg. Mass of proton is approximately 1836 times mass of electron. You will be getting this electrostatic, that Coulomb constant K, which is nothing but 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught actually. This is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9. And what are the units? It is Newton meter square divided by Coulomb square. And what else you will be getting? You will be getting K, electron, mass, Planck constant, Coulomb, the charge of electron, it is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. In addition to this, we will be introducing, see, all these energies we will be calculating. We will be using another unit called 1 electron volt. In terms of electron volts, 1 electron volt is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. So these you should know. Remember these values. They will be useful to us while doing some derivations. Just make a note. Now, remember, whenever an object, just a minute. See, whenever any particle or a body is rotating in a circular path or in an in a circular path, this, let us say, there is one particle which is rotating in a circular path. Now it will be experiencing centripetal force towards the center. First point. Now this is given by Fc is equal to mv square by r. R is the radius and v is the linear speed which this particle is rotating in the circle. Now here what is happening? This is a charged core. What is the charge of the nucleus? Means Z multiplied by E. Z is the atomic number. Okay, so this is the charge. This is the charge Q1, and what is Q2 charge? That is of 1 electron. So there must be an electrostatic force between these two. That means this electrostatic force is given by K Q1 Q2 by R square. Right? What is Q1 Q2? Q1 Q2 are these. Now this is rotating in a circular path. It must be experiencing a centripetal force. So we can say that here centripetal force is because of electrostatic force. See, what are we trying to find out? We are trying to find an expression for radius and velocity of this electron which is going in a particular orbit. So this is one equation we are getting. So here mv square by r is equal to k ze multiplied by e. This becomes ze square by r square, right? So cancel r once. So here you are getting mv square is equal to kze square by r. This is our equation 1. Now as per the Bohr's postulate, we have come to know that angular momentum, which is L is equal to mvr, in a particular orbit, let us say in the nth orbit, is an integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Okay, so here we are getting another equation. So we have to find the equation in such a way that when you find the equation of r, it should not contain v, because both here r, v, both are unknowns. So what we will do is, from here you are going to get a value for r, that we are going to put it in 1. See, from 2, r can be written as nh by 2 pi into mv, right? This is from 2. So we will write this, we will use this value of r and put it in 1. Then it becomes mv square is equal to k z square by r. We need to write r means divided by nh, right? Divided by 2 pi mv, it will go to the numerator, 2 pi mv, right? So here you can cancel out m and you can cancel out 1v. You are directly getting the expression for v. So v is equal to, we pull out all the constant terms. So what are the constants? K is a constant, Z is not a constant, atomic number can change. See, Bohr postulates he has given for hydrogen atom, whose atomic number is 1. For hydrogen, atomic number is 1. Now, so K is a constant, E square, H is a constant into 2 pi. Okay, multiplied by Z is varying and N is varying. So this is what you are going to get. Alright. So here you can see that all these things are constant. You can say that V is proportional to Z by N. So if you put N is equal to 1, Z is equal to 1, you get the speed of the electron in hydrogen in the first orbit. Okay. So once you know that value, you can predict the value of the electron in some other element in some other orbit. Alright. So now this value we can find out, but main thing is we should understand this, that V is proportional to Z by N. Or we can write, suppose you want to find out the lithium, it will be VH by VL, Li will be equal to ZH by ZLi multiplied by, you have to see which orbit they are asking. So here it will become NLi by NH. Okay, what is NH and NLi? Is the NH is the nth orbit in the hydrogen atom. NLi is the nth orbit in the lithium atom. Okay, so this is how you can find out. We will also calculate the values and see how much it is. Let us quickly do the radius part also. So here we have derived the expression for V. Now we have to find the value of, we have to find the expression for the value of R. So you can directly use this expression now, because we have calculated the value of V. You can find the value of if I write velocity of electron in the nth orbit, this will be radius of electron in the nth orbit. So here basically what you have found out here means it is velocity of electron in the nth orbit. If you keep changing the value of n, the value of v will be changing. For when you put n is equal to 1, you get the velocity of electron in the first orbit. When you put n is equal to 2, you get the velocity in the second orbit. So let us find out Rn now. Rn will be equal to nh divided by 2 pi m into Vn. Vn you have already worked out. It is k e square 2 pi, alright, and this h will come in the denominator here. It will go to the overall numerator, and there is n also. Nh is there. So this will become n square h square, and this z will remain in the denominator only. So here also we will separate out. Here also we will separate out all the constant terms. So we can write h square is a constant, 2 pi it is 4 pi square, and the mass of electron is constant, k is a constant, e square is a constant, multiplied by n square by z. Okay, so radius in the nth orbit varies like this. You can see that all these terms are constant, all these terms are constant. You can say that Rn is proportional to n square by z. Alright, so that means Rn is proportional to n square by z. If you calculate all these values, if you put the value of h, if you put the value of m, k, e, which I have mentioned earlier, you get Rn as 0.53 angstroms. Alright, you can make the calculation. You will get this value, 0.53 angstroms. Angstrom means 10 power minus 10 meter. So in other words, this equation will become 0.53 into n square by z. This is the short form. This value you will get in angstroms. The radius of the orbit you will get it in angstroms. Alright. So it is like this. Suppose you have hydrogen atom. Okay. This is the first orbit. This first orbit radius is 0.53 angstroms. Suppose in the question lithium is given to you, and they ask you to find out what is the lithium's second orbit radius. This is n is equal to 1, this is n is equal to 2. They ask you to find out what is this radius r. So we can use this expression. How r will be equal to 0.53. See, r will be equal to 0.53 into what is so n square will be 2 square by 3. So this will become 4 by 3. So 0.53 into 4 by 3, it is approximately 0.7 angstroms. So from this value we can get the value of lithium second orbit. You can get any element, any orbit you can get using this general equation. So here you have to remember the expression, this expression you have to remember, and this expression you have to remember. Okay, and this expression also is very much useful. This expression in general can be written as mvn rn is equal to nh by 2 pi. This n here is suffix. Okay, that is the angular momentum in a particular orbit is constant and it is equal to integral multiple of nh by 2 pi. Sometimes you can find the value of Rn, you can remember this expression. The short form is this. Once you know the Rn value, you can calculate the Vn value in that particular orbit. Okay. So these are some of the things, just make a note of it. I'm going to wipe it. Pause the screen and see. So we have got these two expressions. Basically it means that there is a nucleus and electron is rotating in the particular orbits, and in whichever orbit you want to find out the speed and the radius, you can get it from these expressions. Let us just see what kind of speeds you can expect over here. I will take for n is equal to 1, hydrogen atom will take, that is z is equal to 1 and n is equal to 1. Let us calculate the speed of the electron. V is equal to, see, k is how much? 9 into 10 power 9 into e square, it is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. E is the charge, no? Square into 2 into 3.14, pi value is 3.14 divided by h, it is 6.62 into 10 to the power of minus 34 into z by n, it is 1 by 1, so not writing it, okay, into 1 by 1. Let us just calculate the speed. Let us see only the powers of 10. See, here it is 9, this is minus 38, so 9 minus 38, how much? Minus 29. In the numerator you have got minus 29. In the denominator you got 10, this is 10 power minus 29 and this is 10 power minus 34. So when you take it to the top, it becomes 10 power 5. Now you have to just see these values, how much you are getting. You can see 10 power 5 means it's a huge speed, isn't it? So you can see, I'll just make the calculation, 9 into 1.6 square into 2 into 3.14 divided by 6.62. I'm getting 21.8 into 10 to the power of 5 meter per second. See, the speed of light is how much? It is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Okay. So now this is the speed of electron. So V is 21.8 into 10 to the power of 5 meter per second. It is less than the speed. Let us see how much. See, that is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 by some x will be equal to 21.8 into 10 to the power of 5. If you divide this by some value only, you will get this now. So x will be equal to how much? 3 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 21.5 into 10 to the power of 5. So 3 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 21.5 to 10 to the power of 5. You are getting approximately 140. You are getting this 140, approximately 139 point something. So you can this whole stuff you can approximately replace this by c by 140. This is approximate value. Alright, this whole stuff, this velocity part I am talking about, c by 140, you can write it as Vn is equal to c by 140 into z by n. That's because c value, you know, the speed of light in vacuum is how much? 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. 3 लाख किलोमीटर पर सेकंड जाता है लाइट वैक्यूम में. Okay, so that much amount of speed with which it is moving around. Sometimes they will ask about the time period and all that. So for time period, what you have to do is, suppose in the nth orbit, if you can find omega value, you can find the value of t. So what is the interrelationship? Omega n, angular speed in the nth orbit, is equal to velocity in the nth orbit by radius in the nth orbit. You see, v is equal to r omega. So from here you can get the value of omega n. So omega n, basically what you have to do is, you have to take the formula for the v in the nth orbit divided by radius in the nth orbit. Let us do that quickly. So it is k e square 2 pi divided by h multiplied by z upon n. Okay. Now this divided by Rn. Okay. So this h square n square will come in the denominator. N square h square will come in the denominator. This whole denominator will come here. No, it will go to the numerator. I am not writing that step. So this is 2 pi into m into k into e square into another 2 pi. So I will write this as 4 pi. 4 pi square. This is 4 pi square. Why? Because there is a 2 pi here, there is another 2 pi here. Just cancel out the common terms if any common terms are there. We are not getting any common terms. We will just write the constant part and see the variable part. What are the constant parts here? There is a k here, there is a k here, so it becomes k square. E square, e power 4, 2 pi, 4 pi square, it is 8 pi cube, alright, divided by h you will get, and that's it, multiplied by z. In the numerator there is only z, and in the denominator it is n cube. So this is the constant part and this is the variable part. So this is the value of omega n. Alright. So once you know the value of omega 1, you can predict the time period in the nth orbit. Omega is equal to 2 pi by t. So 2 pi by Tn. What is this Tn? Tn is the time period of electron in the nth orbit. So Tn will be equal to 2 pi by omega n. So you need to write all this. So the constant part I am not writing it. Basically what it's going to become is, see here you can say that omega n is proportional to z upon n cube. So you can say that Tn will be proportional to z cube by n. Z by, sorry, small goof up, stupid goof up. Okay. So Tn will be proportional to n cube by z. This is what you are supposed to remember. Okay. Arguing in the similar fashion, if you know the time period in the nth orbit, you can predict the time period in the fifth orbit. Let us say you know the time period in the third orbit. You can predict the time period in the fifth orbit. So this is the interrelationship. So you are supposed to remember this. This is very important. Velocity in the nth orbit and radius in the nth orbit. Next class we will see the energy expressions. So questions will come on these topics, these concepts. So either you know the derivation or you remember the formula, whichever way you feel you are comfortable. See you then.